No, I was just explaining basically the difference
Hmm.
between Confederacy and non-Confederacy.
Yeah.
But continue.
Well, yeah, I support
Well,
that.
I mean, we
yeah.
can get into
I
that if you'd
personally,
like
yeah, I was just about to get into
preference,
that. I
preference
personally
on
believe that.
government intervention with stuff.
I personally believe that states should have power, but I think that the United States government, should have a little bit more because, well, there's all these giant nations that, if we don't have all of our help, and if one state has a quarrel with the other for some weird reason, that it could make us divided. I want us to be united so we can defend ourselves and, other
See
states if
Well,
needed
that
be.
yeah that with that though, that wouldn't be, even if we did have a or even if we did have a smaller government, that still would be a decision towards an international and intervention type thing. Now,
Yeah.
even with what we have right now, it's kind of the same thing as what it would
Hmm.
be even with a confederacy. You look at, when we go to war and stuff like that, Congress has to approve a bill saying that we are going to war. The president
Hmm.
cannot declare war on another nation without the approval of Congress, and that would be the states voting on whether or not we actually do
mhm.
that. It would be the same thing. When you talk about like states' rights and stuff like that, it's more towards smaller stuff like economic stuff,
Hmm.
social stuff, um,
Yeah.
things like that. That would be a nationwide thing. The government would still, that would be an intervention from the government because,
Hmm.
as a state, you're still representing the government. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I guess me personally, I do believe that the United States government should be stronger than the state government, but I still
Mm,
do believe that states should have rights to say what they want to say and get their point across. At least, at least.
I
Now,
look at
I don't know exactly what I should. I do believe states should have their own laws. That they don't need to be completely unified by the United States government. But
yeah,
yeah, it's a topic I don't think of
I,
much because it's like, oh,
yeah. Well,
I,
the
lo-
reason
I
why.
here,
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
I'll give an example to Fuzzy that will that he understand more of what I'm saying.
yeah,
So
and I
let's
understand what
talk
you're
about
saying, but
the election, and this that I'm staying on the states' rights part of
hmm.
it, not talking about the election 100%. Um, the electoral college. Now,
Oh,
when the a lot of the big excuse when Trump was elected was that he didn't win the popular vote. That he did win the electoral college, but he did not get the popular
Hmm.
vote. Now, I put it this way, all right? If you look at the areas that voted for Hillary or voted Democratic, the majority of those areas were larger cities.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at how the cities work, their laws, and just their political beliefs in general, it is much, much different than the rest of the nation.
Hmm.
I if you okay, so if you live in a larger city, I mean, it doesn't really bother you. But let's put it this way: you live in a small town, Wyoming, out in the middle of nowhere, cowboy country, you know,
Hmm.
and the city of New York decides who is going to lead you. The problem with that is people in New York have different needs
Hmm.
and have a completely different idea on how the country should run without putting in
Hmm.
effect of the people, in that small town that,
Yeah.
work differently. They have a different economic structure, stuff like that. That's why
Hmm.
I explained electoral college. That evens out the playing field.
It does.
Now, states with larger populations, they still have more votes than smaller. Wyoming doesn't have as many electoral votes as New York or California,
Hmm.
because New York and California, they do still have more people, so they put that in
Yeah.
account. But if we based off the popular vote, the people in cities, in large cities, would be deciding how the country's run for people who are completely different than them. You know what I'm saying? Electoral college gives more of a chance for both sides of the spectrum, and it still takes into account if people change. There are some states that usually vote Republican. There are some states that will vote Democratic. But there still is that room for change. So look at Pennsylvania. I mean, that was a huge upset for the Democratic Party. Huge upset because everybody expected Pennsylvania, especially Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, some of those like Great Lakes states. They, called it early. Oh yeah, Hillary's gonna win this. Then out of nowhere, Trump and win states. Other things that went into that. I still see relatively fair. It shows that, doesn't really, it's not a predetermined thing. Well, it's gonna win because they state. No, clearly, even CNN, because I liked CNN set up on how they showed the election and like the graphics that I really believe into a lot of stuff that they say, but I like the visual. Even they were this like. This speaks volumes that are states that turn here. There's people switching Republican. There's Republican Democrats. People say it's unfair. It's unfair, whatever. It's still happening. All right, I will need to go. So
yeah.
I'll be back.
Minnesota has been.
Sorry, we've been. Do you guys want to stay on this topic, or would you like to start another?
One more final point.
Yeah, no, go
ahead. Minnesota has always been a state that's voted Democratic. It's only voted Republican on occasions, but we are a very United States, like where I live. I am more liberal. Most people here are Christian, conservative, Catholic, conservative. There's nothing wrong with her. Some like anti-gay stuff, but other than that, I don't mind it. I like it in a different place because it shows that I have different beliefs and I get to know beliefs. Now, sadly, not a lot of politics, and the people talk politics are very.
I'll talk, alright? Just chill.
And the next point I wanted was well, a lot less compared to the one we're having now. I am gonna bring the what if you something to someone of the political party that disagrees with, like, let's say I strongly disagrees with their like I'm conservative. A lot of people don't want to say things because they're afraid I'll get mad or I'll get
Going on menu.
I'll just outright dismiss that idea or that and I'm quite carried from talking to a Democrat. That's what
I'm not liberal, not Democrat.
Okay, so I don't know. I didn't know the difference.
Well,
like I said,
I'm
not
a liberal.
well-edged.
I support the Democrat. I don't know why, but I'm towards the person that being elected. But
Well,
to be honest,
I'm very
thing
Okay, go ahead.
I would say to somebody of the opposite party, say that you respect my decision, and I want you, and then I will respect your decisions because it makes you more credible. I want like clean politics to come back, not to the point of shouting matches of like you're stupid. I believe this because of this and this because of why. If you know what I mean.
You want to get rid of the Bill O'Reilly, that kind of accusing politics. Hate politics, we'll call it here.
Yeah, I do not like hate.
But it's so hateful.
Super funny. No, but that.
But when I say Bill O'Reilly, I don't mean these sketches. I don't think that those are too cool to conversation. When Bill started out, he started out as he made a big fame by smearing Lennon in all of his views, and that's made it a point to John Lennon on his ideas, and that kind of politics I refer to whenever I say, hey, this intentionally goes because they have a different view. Alright. But
We're talking. You say to somebody of the opposite political party, or of spectrum, I should say. That would be more adequate. Now let's see what you said fits with what I said.
yeah. What are your...
Yeah, you.
I'm not
Okay.
neutral on this.
Okay. So at first, if I was talking to them, I'd
I
say
don't see many
why.
locals. It's like the
Every
cartel's
single
Santa Muerte
little
cult
bit
kicked
of
moved
why
in.
you support. And then if they told me, I'd be like, okay. And then, I'll have them ask me and tell them everything what we think.
Well, said. Me believe what I believe in. That like personally have the other respect the other. Like I respect, the more conservative side. People don't respect the liberal side. Versa. I want everybody to we're different, and that's okay. Let's see. Oh,
Alright, I'm back.
Now let's hear what Archivist.
What I hear...
He's
Here,
also
So we're
I'm gonna fill it.
we're looking at buying a house for everybody. We've been seeing some real nice stuff online. Like good rooms. Yeah.
Like...
This is one of those little farms.
Can we get some
I like a house
like-
that everybody can fit in.
for the outside?
referring... Buddy, as
Debate
in...
after this.
You are not having
Okay,
any code.
we'll put a pin in that. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out something here. What,
But the outside
about, like,
getting hard
uh,
to breathe.
God,
Shut up.
words, Frosted, and all them.
Yeah, Kyle, me, another guy that may come down, and then Kyle's dad. So that we all have rooms and we can all
Live your own
So-
life.
So the question is, and this is and we're seeing if we have the same opinions. Question to talk to a person of the opposite political party or belief of you. What would that question be? That what I normally ask, just out of respect to someone or anybody, by asking this question. I want to see gears turning. I like people thinking.
We spotted one with submachine guns.
Got
I
it.
see a
Moving,
second
careful.
target.
Dude heard that body fall.
You hear my chew, by the way.
We can hear it a little bit.
hear my tune earlier.
Engaging.
Oh, my bad.
Sicarios.
I don't know, really. I mean,
Or even a question in
I
general.
can't really
just,
ask.
Just one they haven't.
I can't
asked.
really ask like what their political idea on something would be, because basically all I have to
There's
do is
cartel
just
coming here.
and reverse it. I mean, for the most part, I mean, that's what it is. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't.
Watch out. Places where reinforcements will be.
Not a whole lot I can ask. I can't say why do you believe this or anything like that, because I mean that's not really the point of it. I mean the whole reason why we have two parties and we have I believe this and I was for the point of debating. I mean,
All right.
Oh, shit.
Well,
I think it's more of
but-
a topic and then discussing the topic rather than asking why or how or whatever.
Good point.
Yeah. Well, how he has said like his other party member, like, and they would take it to heart or something like that among those lines. I said, well, I would want them to know that I respect their decision political. Like, say I respect what they say in politics if you respect what I say
Firing a
in politics.
flare.
Like, I want the hate politics to not really be here. It's an ideal thought, yes, but I wouldn't mind not seeing. Oh, you believe this? Well, you know that's wrong. Why? It's just wrong. I that out. Or hate for the other party for no apparent reason, unless say, oh, yeah, I don't party. That's it. It's just a very simple, but never gonna happen thought of stuff like that. Or even then, the massive failure that was last election when it like got to the point where both hating on each other, Trump and Hillary. It's just like,
Grenade, move!
well, isn't this pleasant?
Grenade,
I gotta look at two people yelling at each other to see which one's gonna be my next leader.
Well, I guess that question's done. Go ahead with your question, Schweeter.
So
Mr.
this is my debate. You might not like this, but do you think that the Texas state defeat the Mexican army?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I saw it. I saw it on a little website, and they're thinking if the Texas State Guard alone would be able to take on the whole Mexican army. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna step out of this.
Same.
I think it's
I may make
speculation,
comment every
honestly.
now and again.
What? What?
It's speculation. I mean, you can't really say either way.
Well-
I mean, if you look at manpower, you know, you can't even use that
Clear.
because it would really have to defend. It would really depend on what is actually happening,
Somebody's cage.
why they're fighting, where they're fighting, the means behind in which they are fighting. You know,
What equipment they each have at their
yeah,
disposal.
I mean, not just from a tactical standpoint. I mean, you have to put everything into it. I mean, you look at the Revolutionary War.
Take cover!
I mean, heavily outnumbered. Our people were farmers. I mean, these are people, like, I would say probably about 70% of them never even really had military experience. But you know what, we won. You know, they came back for more after the Revolutionary War was over, and we still won. You know, but, you know, at the same time, you can't really say for sure. I mean, no war
Yeah.
that we've ever had was ever able to be predetermined. We just don't know. We could have lost World War II. We could have lost the Revolutionary War, the competitive Civil War. I mean, you can't really say.
Well-
We win Vietnam. Well, we lost that pretty easily.
Hey Karen, we've been moving a lot of blow.
Well, the reason I'd say that is because if you look at there is a technical standpoint. Like,
I'll
let's
drive.
look at what Mexico has. They don't even have an air
Let's
force.
roll.
Well,
The only
you-
trucks and
hold
also
on.
the only truck that they drive around in is technicals.
With
North
your
Korea
point,
or not North Korea.
Vietnam
didn't really have an air force.
they didn't at all.
Yeah.
Actually, they had.
And they had very-
what
Yes,
was
but
provided.
They had a
but
jungle.
Choked to death.
Yeah.
Was
Oh.
over.
It's still.
Well,
There's jungles in
there's-
Mexico.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, there's places to hide in Mexico.
Yeah, but
They're not
like
as
I'm
stupid.
talking about defending Texas.
Let's run.
Well,
If Mexico decides to invade at all.
well, an invading force. It really it all depends on how ready we or how like how much we prepared for it, because you know we could probably see it coming, but if enough time they probably could hold, but they wouldn't defeat it.
And here's another thing though too. Texas State Guard wouldn't fight Mexico. The only reason that they would fight Mexico is if they were seceded from the United States. And that would be the military force that they would do. Now, you gotta take that into account.
back home, all we
if
ever
they
needed for a
if
barn
they've
was a
seceded from
padlock.
the United
Barns
States,
back home, I
how
found
much of
they
that
were
military power
not
have
worth
they
as much as a
lost
couple
in
tons of
that
coke
whole thing?
anyway.
Because you know the United
anything,
States
almost
would
all of it.
retaliate. Yeah, I mean they could still win against the United States. You know, getting their
They could.
secession,
They
but
could. Saying that they could. Hold on. Sorry. Saying that they could is grossly misunderstanding the power of the people.
yeah, and
not,
and you also need to realize that battles are just won by military power. I mean, it
They're
would be
economic.
very easy. Yeah, it would be very easy for Texas to secede without even picking up arms. I mean, it is possible. Anything is possible. That's the point I'm getting towards. Anything could happen. I mean, maybe, but you have to put everything else into account before you actually make. You can't say for sure, oh, we're gonna win. You know, the Nazis, they were like, oh, we're there's no doubt in my mind that we're gonna, do this and
And
take back
they
all
were
of our
10
land,
times
and everybody's just gonna fuck off.
They were 10 times more, technologically advanced than most of the countries that they went to war against. And
But-
no one thought that we'd pull out ahead.
Well, the thing that kept it as like that kind of war is the fact that like the war turned because the Blitzkrieg wasn't effective because they were all going back to they were on the tail running back.
Of all the Buchones we could save from
I'm
the
not
slaughter,
surprised
it has to be
that-
Los Santeros.
I mean, given at the time, we were like, okay, I'm not. We were gonna make this extremely risky landing
I don't
at
like messing
Normandy.
with this hoodoo Santeria
And
stuff.
when we did it, we were like,
Royals
oh my
gonna
god,
be
we actually
looking
did it.
at I don't think
We
she's
fought
gonna cast
blood,
any
like it was
hexes or other
tooth and
magical
nail.
spells.
I'm not talking
But-
curses, man.
The entire
I just
time,
shit Los Santeros.
there were previous side of German accidental mishaps. You never thought, oh, they're never gonna have a landing so big, like
Good work.
in the Reich
The rebels will be damned to get their hands on this cargo.
The
Let's
mili-
head out.
the
We'll know
militarized
where to find the
zone.
plane
The
later.
there's a giant wall, like giant fortifications there, but then they dismantled that wall, so they developed the defenses along the French coast. But they didn't realize that, yeah, they were so wasted all that time, nothing, and they just lost. So a lot of big wars because it's the future. You can make speculations on who'd win.
Yeah, like
Because
Germany,
of-
they could have won if they didn't, attack Russia after the agreement. But
If they would have waited another year and a half before invading people, they would have won. Two reasons: long-range ballistic missiles and jet-powered jets. Or planes.
Jet-powered jets.
Those two things, they would have won. Britain would be superior, and they'd be the only ones to actually launch missiles and hit people without even putting others in danger.
What were they called? V1 missiles?
Yeah, I think so.
It was the V2. The V2 was the one that they actually used. They didn't
Um,
launch a lot of them, but they did launch a couple at Britain.
And didn't they take out entire blocks? No, not blocks. Like 2 or 3 buildings.
It'd be blocks.
Um,
no,
It would be.
no,
No.
you're right. Yeah, it would be.
I think-
buildings.
I think a handful actually hit, but most of them were duds, and most of them just crashed in the channel.
yeah, they just need more development time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they had
The
that time
Nazis-
to actually perfect them, it would have been
I
done.
think the Nazis, they had more of a maybe a technological advantage. I think it's because Hitler let his people do what they want, the scientists to do what they want, there's scientists here, in America, they want to experiment, but
How do we make
prove
this harder than
maybe
it
it's
has to
towards an endangerment of other
Hang on,
people.
I'll drive.
But Hitler really didn't let them do that,
Well-
and
Man, let's go.
Now, hold
There's
on.
another. There's a why because of that he didn't care. 'Cause he was most of the end when they were doing all the crazy experiments. As when he was on meth.
Hold up.
Yeah,
There's a
he was
weapons
on
case
that.
here. Awesome. I could put.
It's I say the Mexicans, the Mexican army, standing army, versus the Texas Standing Army.
We'll leave a
It's not a
marker so the
standing
rebels
army, is
can
it?
pick up these supplies later.
No, it's not.
Okay, so
Oh,
so they're the Texan forces versus the Mexican. I say it's a 50-50. It's up to situation.
yeah. If
Is
Texas
that
was
agreed
their
with?
own separate, yeah, I would agree because it depends on the situation with the United States. If the United States, if they ceded from the United States, and there's no
Sorry.
conflict or anything, they would lose a lot of resources. They would still have oil and everything. Lose a lot of production of tanks, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
going to them. It's just, it's really, they lose a lot of their core things that win a war: money and resources.
But let's put it this way: if Mexico invaded Texas, and like today, Mexico invades Texas, federal government, it's the federal militaries and the National Guards. None of them intervene. They're not even in Texas. It's just it's the state of the Texas Guard right now is invaded. We would lose.
Yeah,
No doubt in my mind. There is very, 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 very weapons training with Texas, the Texas State Guard, and like capacity for actual military operations is next to none. Now, if they had time to prepare and to arm and stuff like that, yeah, they would kick some ass. But right now,
So-
they wouldn't be able to win because right now it's basically
Garrison?
it's basically a civilian force. I mean, now they are technically military, but it's the state of them. I mean, it's just civilians in uniform. Honestly, the things that they work on, it's disaster relief and stuff. It's not actual, like, they're not going out ready to fight or anything like that. Now I know there are some guys that do weapons training on their personal time, but it's nothing near military-wide actual tactical standpoint.
Okay. Well, hey, I just have one more question. This is a little off topic, but do you think with our current president, any country is probably going to go to war with us or going to go to war with them?
No.
I don't think
Not
it depends.
really.
No, it
Well-
doesn't really depend on the president. It depends on what our government is like. If anything, given our president, because he's been given under a lot of scrutiny and such, that maybe we would be put under a minor revolution or two. Not revolution, sorry, revolts. Revolutions are different from revolts. But it just depends, like, he wouldn't get us into wars, I wouldn't think, because he has enough people that would say, alright, no. Would we be declared on? Probably not. But NATO and on our side, pretty powerful.
Yeah, well, like I
Not
say,
not only
the-
not only that though. You look at, let's take North Korea for example. We talk shit about them. They talk shit about us. They're not going to do anything because they know it would be not good for the people. I mean, that's why the Cold War. That's why we didn't actually go to war with Russia because the detriment to their society would be catastrophic. Even putting nukes aside, there's not enough there to really go to war. Unless someone really kills someone or something like that.
Like World War One.
Yeah, there's really
Yeah.
no, with our
Well-
security standards and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Well, what about
And
the Syria? Oh, my apologies. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say,
Syria.
what about the Syrian? The bomber that we just shot down. Russia has, targeted, American jets.
They
That's
haven't
just an opinion.
technically anybody. No, I mean they're not shooting, and that's not Syria. There's a lot.
it out.
The eastern
Weapons
part of
case.
Syria, and it's like the eastern quarter of Syria. They told us not to go into. They didn't mean like they didn't say,
After wanting
hey,
one
you
of
can't
these.
go into fucking Syria. Now, you want to talk about that? It's what Hillary wanted. She wanted to put a no-fly zone over the entire country, which that would have started issues. But what Russia did is, this is your area, you deal with it. This is our area, and they deal with it. You know, we're both here to kick ISIS's ass.
Yeah.
Just don't cross the line, and we won't, you know, who's shooting who, you know. That's fine, you know, as long as we respect that. I mean, both ways. Anything about, I'm pretty sure they're the ones that came up with the whole, you know, we'll stay over there, you know.
I honestly thought that we're gonna become allies because I knew Putin.
Oh God, no.
I think Putin be like Trump, or he favored him over.
Yeah, he
Well,
favored him
hold on,
over
hold on.
Hillary. I would
He
think.
specifically said, if Hillary wins, we're probably going to go to war.
Well, listen.
Really?
Buckle up.
Not because it's Hillary, but because of her, like, with that whole no-fly zone and stuff like that, her policies.
It'd be a good thing if we did become friends with Russia. And this is
Oh,
only
definitely.
because you know the two of the world's largest powers hanging out together. You know, if we become allies with Russia, we would be the most feared allied of the entire world.
Oh yeah.
But we'd have so much leverage
Yeah,
against people to not to, you know, cause conflict.
But at the same time, we can't put things aside to work on that.
No, we
That's
cannot.
another thing.
Well,
If they're being dicks, we're not going to be like, oh, it's okay. We still want to be allies.
yeah.
We'll give you a pass on whatever the fuck you just did, you know.
When two superpowers aren't most likely going to become friends because they're superpowers and they want their way. They're like two toddlers. Both are really kind of bossy. They're not going to become friends. They're going to They're just not going to most likely become allies. Like, they're not going to become friends. It just really depends on, like, what we're in. Right now, we probably wouldn't, because of the fact that Russia we've never really had really good relations. Never happened.
Okay.
Even though we're two different
Fucking
societies.
hell.
I hate to cut this conversation short, but I think that's going to be all for today. Thank you, Archer. And thank you, Fuzzy. And thank you, Schweeter, for coming out.
My pleasure.
I mean, we didn't move much.
Huh?
He said thank you for coming out, but we weren't moving
Oh,
much.
shush. But we'll start a new conversation this Monday or tomorrow or whatever. But the big event is gonna be Monday, and I'll have a list and everything, and we'll try and stay on topic and keep as close to the topic as possible. Don't put your face.
Oh, okay.
buddy. But yeah, I'll see you guys either tomorrow or the next day. If anything,
Alright.
we'll have a new discussion.
Alright.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, I'll see you guys later.
See it.
Have a good one.